Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to take one of my old designs that I made when I first started designing and I'm going to make it better, and I'm going to update it with my current skills, and I'm going to try to do this all in under 10 minutes. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to basically just think out loud as I do this and try to give you some tips to make your designs better along the way. Alright, so I'm going to get this timer started. Alright, the timer is on right now. Okay, so the big problems that I see with this design, these buttons look terrible. Things are not really sized proportionally. Like for example, this button here is about as large as the heading right above it. So like that's a big problem. This button's way too large. It's actually a bigger button than the heading below it. These cards here don't have enough white space at all. Like this icon is too big, and this button is very strangely sized. So I'm going to duplicate this screen, and now I don't know why that line didn't get transferred over. We're going to start making this a little better. One thing I want to do is actually change the font throughout this, because this is Lucida Grande, and it only has regular and bold font weights. So I want to have more options than that. It's also not the best looking font. So one thing I like to use is Open Sans. I think that looks better. So I'm just going to change that throughout the design. So I could just click every word on the page. And change it to Open Sans. All right. So now I want to make this look like a good heading. So I think I want to make this a little bit smaller. Somewhere around 36 should be good. All right, so that looks better. I like to have a bold heading like this to have more contrast between these words in the buttons below. So now what I'm going to do is, I think we can make this maybe look a little bit better by having this be the same width as the button above to create a little bit more visual consistency down through the margins of this page. Now the word send help in this button is also way too large. So we are going to move that down to 18. Actually, maybe we'll do a little bigger. I think semi-bold will look good, and we need this centered in the button. Make the button just a little bit smaller also. And then for this one, I also don't like this red color very much. It's just a very, very bright in-your-face color. So I actually have a red that's saved in my color palette over here. And move it to that. I think that looks a little better. I'm going to change that on this border as well. We're going to make sure both of these buttons are the same size, so 307 by 44. And we're also going to make sure that both font sizes are the same for both buttons. move that down to 19. Move it up to semi-bold. I think I don't like the look of this black text in the button, so I'm going to move this to red also. Now, a lot of this isn't perfect, but since we only have 10 minutes, we're just doing the best that we can. This button, I think this map also doesn't look great. I think it's just kind of weirdly small compared to, I forgot I had more stuff below there. Just delete that. So I think the map is weirdly small compared to the rest of the items on the page. So we're going to make that a little bit bigger. Move this down just a little bit. Okay, only 4 minutes to go. Okay, I'm going to continue with that consistency between buttons, and I'm going to make this button here the same size as these buttons. So 307 by 44. Move that to size 19, semi-bold. I don't like this line right here. I don't think there's any reason to have a line like right before cards like that, because that this should show that it is its own heading. And I'm going to do that. So let's see. I'm going to keep that at size 25. And now we're going to work on these cards and make them look a little bit better. So what I'm going to do here is, I think this border looks really ugly. So I'm going to remove the border. And I'm going to use shadows to show that they are cards. So for the shadow, keep that, move the spread up a little bit. Move this down to 8 for the opacity. Doesn't look perfect, but we only have 2 minutes to go. We're going to round these corners a little bit. Okay, I don't know where that icon went. All right, these icons look terrible. They're blurry. We're just going to work with them for now. We're going to move these away from the text. We're going to move this text down a couple of notches to size 15. I think that looks a little bit better. Move that out just a little bit. Again, I'm not going for perfection here, just making it better. And I think these buttons can be a little bit taller. Okay, got a little off-centered. And last but not least, I'm actually going to move this down to semi-bold. Actually, no. We're going with bold. And I think this more button can be a little bit smaller. And my 10 minutes is up. All right, so it is still pretty far from being a really great design, but I think it looks better than it did before. So again, just to reiterate what the problems were over here, we had a pretty bad lack of visual hierarchy. So the buttons were about the same as this heading here. That didn't look great. This map was a little bit strangely sized. This button here is also not consistent with the rest of the buttons on this page. Our cards didn't look great with this terrible looking border here. And yeah, I think that was the big things. So the big theme of this is that when you have elements on the page, you don't want to make them too big relative to the rest of the items. I think that was like one of the big things that was making this the left side a really bad design. So I hope you got something from that video. Also, if you would like to have me critique one of your designs and try to make it better in just 10 minutes like that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to try to redo your design for you and teach you something by making a video about it. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.